Alright, geeks, welcome to another episode of GeekastX. I'm Sean.
I'm Brian.
I'm Jake.
And today we have a special guest, Anthony Misiano. He's a pretty famous guy. A lot of people know him as Harley's Joker. And we're just hanging out. Do you want to say hello?
Nah.
Okay.
I'm kidding. Hi, everyone. Hi, I'm here. How are you? Hello. Hi.
How's it going?
Yeah, it goes.
Oh yeah, we were having like some Skype technical difficulties earlier, and he was telling me how it would have been funny, like if I went to call, because the call failed over and over. How if I went to call, he was just gonna hang up.
I was just gonna reject the call. Like, no.
Not today. Not today.
Not today.
All right. So first off, we read an article maybe a month ago or so that said you were hanging up the purple gloves and white makeup, and we were wondering, like, is there still any truth to that, or are you still?
Oh yeah. No, that's completely true. Yeah, I'm done with that. I mean, here's the thing. I have tons of like backlogged content from conventions I have gone to in the past, photo shoots I've done, fan art that has been sent to me, and art that I'm working on. I have so much stuff still. Like, I have a good 4 months of solid new content to still post. I'm just not going to be creating anymore. I'm not going to be going to conventions and dressing up. I mean, I didn't do it that much before anyway, despite popular belief. I only did it maybe a couple times a year. But I'm just kind of tired of that, unfortunately.
Anthony, how did you get started doing that actually?
Well, I mean, I've been drawing since birth. You know, I've been drawing my whole life and designing stuff, and even doing some costume design stuff. I first started doing kind of costume design, I think, when I was in high school. I didn't do much with it, just sort of drawings, and then I mean, I did theater, and I was a theater major in college, and went on to do that, and always had a lot of thoughts on the costuming side of things with characters I would play, or with the whole production. I'd always have kind of thoughts and input, whether or not I was listened to. And then I started making costumes for some film projects I was working on that I was producing myself, and I got some hands-on experience making costumes. And then, honestly, what happened, and the way the whole Joker thing specifically came about, was that I had worked on this film for about a year and a half, a big passion project of my own, and I sent it out to a bunch of festivals and everything else, and it just didn't really get much traction. It got accepted to a few small festivals, but it didn't really go anywhere or lead to anything, and I was disappointed and, creatively bummed the fuck out, if I can use that language. And
Fuck yeah.
I just I just needed to find something to work on. And I remember I just always had it in the back of my mind, creating a Joker costume. Just feeling like I had never seen one, like a physical manifestation of the comic book character that I felt really rang true to me, just to my own opinion. None of them ever quite looked right in any of the films or any one that I'd seen anybody make or buy at a store or anything else. But I had clear ideas in my head of what I would want it to look like, how I think it should look. To me, it was obvious. It was like, this is what this should be, this is what these colors should be, this is how this should be fitted, and how this should be cut, and everything else. I saw it, pretty clear in my head. And so, just as a Halloween costume, I started working on it in June of 2011. And Halloween came and went, and it wasn't done. And I just kept working on it. And I just continued to. And then finally, a year later, in June 2012, I finished it. And I lived in San Diego at the time, and I just decided, well, hell, Comic-Con is in a month. I have tickets. I'll wear it one day, just for fun. And that was really it. That's all it was. And then people just really took a liking to it.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, you really nailed it. Like that. Like, you're right. Like when you're saying like how like people like have like a certain, like, if you buy the costume, it doesn't look as good as like what you might think he would look like in the comic.
Yeah, or even like, I mean, and I love Jack Nicholson's performance as an example, but that costume, like, there were a lot of things about it. Yeah, it was great, but there's a lot of issues I had with it, just from a costume design standpoint, just for how materials and colors and things read on camera. I didn't feel right about it. The Heath Ledger costume actually I thought was even more true to the comics in a lot of ways than the Jack Nicholson one. Even though the makeup wasn't, the costume was really a great kind of fleshed out real life adaptation of it. But still, it wasn't what I had envisioned in my head. So, yeah.
That's awesome that you had that, desire to go after that idea. Just the perfect look that you had in mind.
And your face is like perfect. Like your face is like super expressive, so it's like perfect.
Yeah, I have a
eyebrows.
pointy, stretchy face. So,
Brian, did you have a question?
luckily for me, I'm going to age really badly. So that's nice. It's like the older I get, the less makeup I'll need to look like the Joker. It'll just be like, all the lines and creases will just be there, no shading or contouring required.
Right.
I just, stay out of the sun for a month and dye my hair green. Yeah.
So are you obviously you're a fan of the comics, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Which are your favorites?
Well, as far as like the Batman goes and kind of Joker centric things. Well, everything. Here's my thing. As I mentioned, I've been drawing my whole life, so my thing with comics was always the art. That's what I really looked at, and honestly, any comic book that I would grab or want to keep a hold of was because of the art. I mean, I remember I collected cards, the trading cards, and it was very specific. It was a particular line of them. It was the 1992 Marvel Masterpiece cards.
Oh, yeah,
that particular issue, that particular year, the artwork was phenomenal, and I wanted to get every single one just because the artwork was so good, and it was so fleshed out. I think that's why, as far as artists go, like I'm such a fan of. Well, I mean, a lot of people are of like Alex Ross, because he's a great example of taking these characters, but making them seem so photoreal while still staying true to their, core design and style and aesthetic. But I mean, favorite comics as far as art, I loved, I really loved the Max. Anybody remember that?
Yes, the purple dude.
Yeah, that was
like the yellow middle fingers.
That was Keith Parkinson. Is that right? Yeah, Keith Parkinson wrote and did the artwork for that, and his art is just so out there and so different. I love the look of it and the flow of it. And I love the comic also, just the way the panels would flow and work together. Also, I love my mind is drawing a blank because I'm not video Skyping. I'm just sitting here talking. So what am I doing? I'm literally doodling on my desk, and I'm being distracted by my doodle. I got to clear my mind. Okay.
You're getting really meta.
Yeah. Was it Dave McKean? Who did a lot of Neil Gaiman's artwork. Dave McKean, the one of his that I like the most is a Batman one, which is Arkham Asylum, Serious House on Serious Earth.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The artwork in that is absolutely stunning. But yeah, Dave McKean, Brian Boland, obviously a big fan of. I mean, I've done several recreations of different pieces of art of his, like his photographs, because I just love his artwork so much. And so those are the ones that I love. That's what really drew me in. As far as Joker artists specifically, it's really funny. I have this theory that if you draw Batman really, really well, your Jokers aren't that great. And if you draw the Joker really, really well, your Batmans aren't that great. I mean, they're good, but they're not the best. Because, okay, this is my opinion. In my opinion, the best Batmen are Jim Lee.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Neil Adams. Neil Adams' Batman was like a ballet dancer. It was so fluid and so musculature in such an elegant way, and he took it to a place that it hadn't been before. I mean, before Neil Adams' Batman was, it was that Adam West style. It was that very square shapes, very not fluid at all. And
was he the one with the really, really tall ears?
He's the blue one, right?
No.
Well, they were all kind of a bluish. Just look up Neil Adams Batman, and you'll see some beautiful artwork.
Oh,
anyway.
Yeah, I remember him. He was like the one that remember there was like that 12-inch action figure, Brian, that you used to have.
Oh yeah.
That was the 1970s, and that was really that changed the game as far as Batman goes. But his Joker, although his Joker, although his
Yeah, I
Joker
was gonna
is
say, I
good,
was like, I totally see you on that. His
Yeah.
Joker sucks.
well, it doesn't suck. I mean, it is a good Joker, but it's not it's not how I see the Joker. It's not an iconic Joker, in my opinion. But his Batman, oh my God, it's the fucking best. And same thing with Jim Lee. Jim Lee's Batman looks like the fucking Chrysler Building. It
Oh,
is this strong, architectural, just badass thing with practical, functional boots, belt, and gauntlets. It's amazing. His Joker, I just don't like it. It's this weird, needle-pointed, bug-eyed, funky little thing that doesn't look human.
Did you ever see or hear? Did you ever listen to like Fat Man on Batman?
I always hear about it. I've never actually listened to it.
He does an interview with Jim Lee where he talks about the boots or whatever, and then Jim Lee's like, "Oh, those fucking boots," because he was the first one to put a tread on them, like legitly. So
And now he has to do it every time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. It's a pain. Once you make a decision, you're like, fuck, I have to draw this every time.
Right.
But then as far as Joker artists go, Brian Boland, I mean, very few people can touch his Joker. A lot of people consider his like the epitome, like this is the quintessential Joker. And yet his Batman is okay. It's not bad, but it's okay, in my opinion. And I'm a huge fan of Brian Boland. Tell Brian is a friend of mine on Facebook. He's probably never heard me say this. I hope he never does. He'll be like, "What? You don't like my Batman?" But I think his Batman is good. But I think his Joker is far stronger. And then you have also like Alex Ross. Alex Ross's Joker is, in my opinion, one of the absolute best. His Batman, it is great, but I think it's only great because of his technique and his skill as an artist. I don't think the design of it is that strong. Or also my other favorite Joker artist from the 70s, Marshall Rogers. Marshall Rogers' Joker, fucking amazing. People don't know this. It might be the singular largest influence on my costume design. It's Marshall Rogers' artwork. People don't know that. But his Batman, that's okay. It doesn't have the finesse that, like Neil Adams or Jim Lee had. So that's my theory. You can do one or the other really spot on. If you are an amazing this character, the other one's not going to be that great.
Man, you're kind of blowing my mind right now with that theory. Like I'm thinking about all these.
And I still have my clothes on. See, this is amazing.
That'll change soon.
Well,
wait till 8 o'clock rolls around. Oh my gosh!
That's just such an interesting theory. I agree with that. Huh.
I was gonna say I like to doodle and stuff too. And
I hope that was the whole story.
No. What I was gonna say is I suck at drawing the Joker, but whenever I draw Batman, I try to emulate like a mix of Ed McGuinness and Jim Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Because I like the short ears.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the short ears are good.
And I'm just gonna say that like a lot of people see like cosplaying as like a hobby, but you've like elevated it to like an art form.
That's very kind of you to say. But the thing is that here's where I make the distinction, and it's not a popular thing for me to say, but I hate saying this. I don't consider myself a cosplayer.
That was my next question actually. Like I know you don't like to call it cosplay. What do you prefer?
And it's not because I think that I'm like on like a higher level. It's nothing like that whatsoever at all. In fact, I admire cosplayers very much but here's the thing, like I only made one costume design.
Mm-hmm.
And I did it for a different reason, I think, than a lot of cosplayers do it. I don't know. Like I wasn't doing it. I mean, yes, I am a fan of the character and of the genre and of the universe that they live in and everything else. Yes, that's true. But I did it largely for the reasons of just aesthetics and design purposes, and just me wanting to essentially do this drawing basically, but just do it fleshed out in person. I don't know. Yeah, it was more of a design thing. I consider myself a costume designer long before I would ever consider myself a cosplayer.
Would you ever go back and like do it again? Like I know you're quitting, but would you ever like decide to do another costume or something like that if the?
Would you do the Joker again?
Well, I have. No, probably won't do the Joker again. I have.
You would make a great Doctor Who.
Well, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
10.
Yeah. But I have a lot of costume design ideas in mind, but none of them are for me. You know, like I would love, like for example, just Batman as a category. I would love to do the entire Rogue Gallery. I wouldn't want to be all the people. I'd want to have other people be the people, but I would want to be the one that designed the costumes and fleshed them out and everything else and brought them to life. I'd want to be the artist behind it all. But I mean, that's never going to happen. You know, it's not the time and the budget to do that is just ridiculous.
How would you say that your costume has like evolved from its like first incarnation to like its most recent?
It was a lot of refinement more than anything else. I mean, the basic ideas were all there, and the materials were all there, for the most part. But little things were refined. Just little details like the cuffs on a shirt, or the particular, or like the socks, or the particular cut of the pant legs, or the particular cut of the jacket, or the way this part of the suit falls or lays. It was a lot of just really refining after getting the whole thing kind of finished and on me. It was really just a matter of looking at it in a lot of photos and going, okay, this needs to be a little tighter here, this needs to be a little longer here, this needs to be a little shorter here. I mean, things that literally no one even notices, but does make a big difference.
See, it's funny you say that because I mean, one of my favorite photos that you recreated was the Killing Joke.
Yeah.
Those gloves, I was looking at those. I'm like, did he have to get those custom made? Because I've never seen gloves that like fold down like that.
Yeah, no, that's not even real. That's sort of, I kind of tricked you. The way I did that is that because I have purple leather gloves.
Do you Photoshop?
Oh God, that image is all Photoshop. That image is. I mean, every element is photographed, but like, I don't own a purple leather jacket. I don't own a hat that color. I have things that are different colors that I was able to find that were the right shapes. But here's the thing: like, if I'm doing something to wear out at a convention, then yeah, it has to be right. If it's for a photo shoot, it has to be 90% right. Because that extra 10% can always be done later. As long as you know how you're going to do it. Don't just say, we'll just fix it later. Well, then you're fucked. But if you know that's how you're going to do it. And I test everything. Like, I did a test photo shoot. I did several test photo shoots before that actual photo shoot just to see if everything could work the way I wanted it to. I spent like a month or more preparing for that photo shoot.
Do you ever have like something you have to scrap?
Or like put on the back burner, like ideas?
No.
It's funny.
Simple answer.
I also
if I don't think I can do it, I don't do it.
back to the Photoshop really quick. I also enjoy the Photoshopping. I actually do it for a living.
Oh, great!
I retouch photos.
Nice. I should show you some of the stages of development. Then you get a kick out of that.
Actually, I love behind the scenes thing. That's what gives me a bonus.
Well, I did, believe it or not, if you ever go to my Facebook page, the Joker Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Harley's Joker, and you look through the photo albums, there's an album in there called Random Progress. And throughout the whole thing is just lots of posts over the last couple of years of how a lot of these things were put together. It's just that those posts don't get shared as much as, the finished pieces when they first debut. So not a lot of people end up seeing them, unfortunately. But they are out there. You can actually see a lot of that stuff. Because I do share it after. I never share it during the making of process. I refuse to show making of photos before something has debuted. Because then the final product will never have the same impact. But if you just come out of the gates at 100% full, people are just blown away. And then you can continue to kind of publicize that finished piece by showing, hey, here's some how-to stuff.
All right, everybody, we're going to stop for a moment to do some plugs about social media around the web and all the awesomeness at GeekastX. For all the awesome news and entertainment around the web. So you can find us on Facebook at GeekastX in the search bar. You can find us on YouTube. Type in GeekastX in the search bar. That's the first place you can find the show before iTunes. And lastly, you can go to iTunes and search GeekastX and make sure to leave a review to let us know how we're doing. And also, check out Nerd Overload for more shows and content about all things geek around the web.
I know you're a Star Trek fan, so I have to ask you the eternal question: Kirk or Picard?
Oh God.
I know, right?
God.
We're going there.
Okay, here, this is gonna come out. Here it goes.
Okay.
As a younger man growing up, it was always Picard.
Yeah.
I always felt he was superior because I'm a bit of an introvert. I've trained myself to behave like an extrovert, but I'm a bit of an introvert. I'm kind of an intellectual. I like to solve things with my mind, not with brute force. But as I've gotten older, you just really have to admire everything there is about Captain Kirk. He's just the most charming, handsome, ballsy fucking man in the galaxy. And I just have to go with Kirk, you know? When the shit hits the fan, who do you really want on your side?
Kirk.
You need
Yeah.
Kirk there.
I also like Kirk.
You need Kirk there.
Do you like Star Trek more than Star Wars?
They are very different and cannot be compared, and I think that's one of the biggest.
That is a great answer.
That's one of the biggest mistakes in all of geek fandom is people having rivalries between the two. I'm like, but they're different. One is science fiction, one is fantasy. The problem is people end up thinking that Star Wars is sci-fi when it's not.
I agree.
It's fantasy. It's the King Arthur story. It's a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away with monsters and princesses and knights of the old with sword fights. It's a fantasy tale, but it's told in it's told in space. So people go, oh, science fiction. Why? Because space is there, and I don't understand space.
Makes sense.
Space.
I love
if
space
space
too.
is involved, like usually I am on board 100%.
Do you guys see the new
Like,
the new Martian spacesuits they debuted? They're like
No.
black. Yeah, they're like black and orange.
I applied at NASA. Remember, they had I think like a week or two ago, you can apply for NASA for the Mars mission. That's how much I love space.
Wait, I want to let me get my Joker questions out
And
really quick.
you applied for the Mars mission?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Takes 9 months to get there.
And you don't come back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You're kind of stuck
But
there.
think about this: if you and your
Like,
lady
that's the thing.
friend,
You're going, and that's it. You are not coming back.
if
That's it.
You're dying on Mars.
think about this: if you and a lady friend go and she gets pregnant, it takes 9 months to get there. By the time you get there, baby pops out. Be the first Martian.
That's true. But it's gonna suck for that kid because, like,
The atmosphere.
it takes a village, dude. This is why homeschooling leads to weird people. I just segregated like 90,000 people out there. Well, how many listeners do you have?
7.
Okay, one of them is really upset. I'm fine.
Well, all right. So my
2015, man, everyone's upset.
my question,
true.
like before we segue from the Joker stuff, which we already did, though, was it was gonna be that I've seen a lot of your prints and stuff, and like you know how like you recreated the Alex Ross Joker and so on. Have you ever like thought about recreating like Scott Snyder's Joker or Jared Leto's?
No, but just because that's not. I don't know. I'm a purist. There's a certain way I see the character, and it doesn't mean that the other versions are wrong. It's just that if I'm going to put that kind of time and effort into it, and trust me, it's a lot of time and effort. I mean, that trophies wall photo of mine.
I like that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that was literally a couple months of planning and working before I even started photographing it. About a week off and on of photographing all the elements, and then literally 2 weeks of all my spare time was spent editing that thing. It was weeks. So altogether, you're looking at like months of work, time, effort. I spent a lot of money on the different elements and pieces to get it all together looking right. If I'm going to put that much kind of passion and time into it, I have to feel passionately about it, and I do not passionately connect with those other character designs as strongly as I do, well, the ones that I recreated. I mean, it's as simple as that.
Right. Yeah, I definitely I do agree. Like when Scott Snyder's Joker first came out, I was not a fan, but like I do like when they revived him where he's wearing the black suit. I thought that looks cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
No,
I like
it's
the black suit.
it's cool stuff. I'm not saying I'm not a fan of it. I'm not as passionately attached to it.
And
So
especially like Jared Leto, he's like new to the field, still
He's-
testing the waters.
he's not even really he's just like slightly fair skinned. He's not even
Yeah.
he's not even like albino pale. He's like a dude named Frank who's like that guy I know is kind of pale.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's just
He's
a dude
like-
with like skin colored skin
And then
gray hair.
clearly
He's
in all
from-
the like.
He has heavily Irish descent, clearly.
And
I was
what's funny is like they know that fans are gonna hate this, so all the promo photos that they're putting out there,
Yes.
they heavily touch up to make him look like his skin is white.
Yes, that's
But
what
then
I
you
was
see
just
the
about to say.
Yeah, but then you see the footage and the on-set photos, you're like, oh no, you're just some little fucking dude with bright green hair. I'm sorry. I'm angry at that. I'm angry at that character design. It infuriates me.
It's all right. What port did you dock at, sailor?
I mean, I think that he is a brilliant actor, and I am not lying when I say that I think he will play the character incredibly well and do a brilliant job. I really do. I think the casting choice was great. I think the character design is atrocious. Granted, I think that Heath Ledger's character design from the neck up was atrocious as well.
Yeah,
But-
I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, but
agree.
I get where they were going though, because it's that whole universe of there are no superpowers, there is no make believe. This is real. What if Batman lived in a real city today? How would this all work? That was the whole concept with with the Nolan films.
Right.
And so I get it that the Joker, there is no vat of chemicals you're gonna fall in that'll bleach your skin and make your hair green without killing you. So they made it a practical, functional thing. I get it. Although on that same line of thinking, pardon my language again, then why the fuck does Two-Face have a bouncing googly eye and shiny metal teeth? That would not be the case. He would look like Mel Gibson in Man Without a Face, an actual burn victim, period.
Yeah, I never liked that eye, that
They-
wonky, like free floating eye.
It took you out of it. It defeats, it doesn't functionally, practically make sense. It
Right.
doesn't make
Well,
any sense.
You can see
It
his
goes-
chin bone.
It goes against that whole process that they had. The first two films, they got to this place of like, okay, this is as if everything is real. Batman's a real guy living in a real city. Here's how he would actually get all this stuff to work. Here's all the actual functional versions of these back gadgets in a practical universe. Brilliant, clever, great. Here's the Joker. He's just some dude who has scars that makes his mouth look bigger, and he wears makeup because he's a lunatic. Got it. Practical, functional, real world. And then we destroy the whole concept with Harvey Dent being what he became, which is just ridiculous.
It's like looking at him is like looking at somebody with a cross eye. You know, the one that kind of just
Yeah.
wanders.
Yeah, you're not sure which one to look
I had
at.
the same exact feeling.
And also like it's not like you don't know it's computer generated. You can tell
Yeah.
right away. Use makeup, do an actual makeup application, and make them look like a burn victim.
Yeah,
If-
but not
that's
hot
an-
pink.
No, and that's another thing. Like I said, well, if you never saw the movie because it wasn't a big movie, do another Google image search for Mel Gibson, Man Without a Face. It was a movie from like 1993 or 94, and he played a guy who was a burn victim, and half his face was burnt. And it was a real life, like looking thing. That's what Two-Face in the Nolan universe
Oh,
should have
yeah.
looked like. It makes
Yeah.
perfect, practical fucking sense.
That is pretty gnarly. I've never
I'm
seen that
very,
before.
I'm very passionate about character design. Have you gotten this?
Yes.
Well, you actually, this is a perfect segue. You're an actor.
Yes.
What genres are your favorite to do?
Oh, you know what? At this point, I am not established enough to be able to choose favorites, so I'm going to choose the ones that hire me.
Okay, that's
there you
good enough.
go. Y-
My genres are the
Perfect
ones
hedging.
that my genres are the ones that pay the bill, that pay me to act, which is just the greatest joy in the world.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of your comedy. Like, I was looking at your bento box ads.
Yeah.
All those knife things are so funny. Like,
Thank
just
you,
like
man.
the quick movements is what like got me. Like,
Thank you.
I forget what you said. Like, about the knife. It's like it's only scary if you know how to use it or something.
Yeah,
Did you write all those jokes?
Oh yeah, that's just those aren't like paid acting things. That's just me doing this video. I mean, I do get some benefits from it from the bento people because they're like, hey, would you do this video for us? But it's all me because I mean most people because they have other people who do unboxing videos and a lot of companies have things like this where like okay you do these product reviews online or whatever. The way most people do product reviews online on blogs or vlogs or Facebook pages is they take their phone and they hit record and like, hey guys, it's me. Okay, so I got this new lipstick, and they open it and they use it. And, okay, this is great, yada yada. Okay, bye, and that's it. Whereas like
In a nutshell.
since I have a background in video production and film editing and sound editing and all this stuff, I'm like, well, let's just make it a whole entertaining thing. So I set up the camera. It's all improvised, and I just record for about 20 minutes of me opening up this box and going through it and just trying to think of funny, goofy crap as I go. And then I edit it down to a tight 6 minutes or so is about what I get it down to, and I just try to make it as entertaining as I can. I probably spend about 18 hours editing each one of those things.
Wow. I used to...
Because there's like, you don't notice, there's like animation in it. Now, it's not animation like a character, but like all the letters moving in and kind of bouncing and flipping around and doing weird movements and sound effects and... There's so much stuff crammed into each one. The most recent one, the one I did is like a week ago. In the first 45 seconds, there's like 6 different songs that all come in and are cued in by the actions or by the kind of joke or whatever else. Like there's so much kind of packed into it.
Mm.
But it's fun, and it really got kind of established as far as like kind of my own comedic editing style for that sort of stuff from doing the show Real Butter because
Just about to bring that up.
Yeah, I did all the editing on that, and it's very obvious now. If you see the bento boxes, you're like, same guy, got it.
I love the bit in the first couple episodes where like you can find us on Facebook, and like, it only works when I do it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
With the letters moving,
Mm-hmm.
which again was just me. We'd shoot that, and we just kind of improvise that, and as soon as I do it, in my mind I'm going, damn it, Tony, now you're gonna have to animate to that weird physical motion you just did. It's going to be so time-consuming because it's like frame by frame of moving it and stretching it and everything else. I'm like, why did I do this to myself? But
what software or editing tools do you use?
I do it all in Adobe Premiere.
I was gonna guess After Effects.
Yeah, no, I do it all in Premiere. Yeah, I've been using Premiere since, 2000. Yeah, about 2000. From early versions of Premiere back when I was 15 years old, just editing little short videos in high school.
So, are there any like projects or anything you want to discuss, or like any future things coming up?
Well, I mean,
I saw you were in that. Was it a? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was a like murder comedy thing.
Yeah, horror comedy. Yeah, Well, I'm always working on things.
A horror
because it's a hormedy.
What was that called?
It sounds like a musical about horrors. But they already had that. It's called Chicago.
Zing.
Zing. Thank you. I'm always working on things because I literally don't have a day job. My work really is just acting, and I do some photography and editing work, but that's just freelance. It's just like a gig here or there. And so because of that, like I have to always be trying to find projects. And so a lot of what I do are very small projects people never see, never hear of, but I mean great projects. I do a lot of short films and just independent projects and things like that. A lot of commercials, not a lot of I haven't done any national commercials, but like some regional stuff and things that are like commercials that'll be on the internet or on YouTube or commercials for a product or whatever else,
Any like local commercials?
Couple local commercials, like for like different, like a cable company. I did one for Optimum Cable, which was really fun, and things like that. And like bit parts and like small TV things. But as far as like bigger projects, I just wrapped shooting on an independent comedic horror film, like a comedy horror film. Sort of has a little bit of a Sam Raimi kind of flavor to it, but a bit oh god, what's that term? Irreverent, kind of disrespectful, crude humor throughout a little bit. Tentatively called The Restaurant. The title might change, but right now it's called The Restaurant. And it's a lot of fun, and basically it's about a restaurant manager owner of a restaurant in New York City, a little Italian restaurant, who is feeding customers to a demon that lives in the basement. And in exchange, the demon uses his powers to make the restaurant popular. So, of course, the more guests and customers of the restaurant that get sacrificed to the demon, the more popular the restaurant becomes. And one day, a busboy who works the restaurant discovers this, and I guess from that point on, the story ensues, the adventure and the hilarity ensues. And I play the busboy in that, Jeremy, which is really fun. And so we just finished shooting that. I guess the goals with that are to, once it's all cut together, probably about 6 months or so, is to try to start submitting to film festivals. There's a lot of festivals that really do cater to that kind of genre. And then try to find some sort of distribution. And then, I don't know if you care. I'm shooting 2 other short films this month in the next couple weeks, which will be a lot of fun. And I did shoot another feature, a horror. I shot it back in June, but it's not going to be edited together probably until early this next year, sometime in spring. And we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's what I'm working on right now.
That's funny. I feel like your real name is more Italian than your Jeremy, the busboy name.
It's true. But
are you Italian?
Mostly the name. Honestly, well, my full name is like it's obscenely Sicilian. It's Antonio Rocco Misiano II. It's just this ridiculous, crazy thing, But Anthony Misiano is much easier. But I'm only genetically a quarter Sicilian. Because my dad it's because the name's from my dad's side. So, like, my grandpa on my dad's side, full-blooded. Dad is half, and then I'm a quarter. So I'm a quarter Sicilian. I think I'm, like, half German, actually, because both my dad and my mom were half German. And then the other quarter is made up of just a bunch of little stuff, like Welsh, Irish, English, Shawnee Indian, Cherokee Indian, just a bunch of little slivers of everything else thrown in the mix. Yeah. I'm just a generic white mutt. I am pale and vague.
I was gonna say, are you sure you're Cherokee? You're pretty pale.
It's like 1/32. It's the slimmest bit of.
It's like you should see my lower knee or something like.
Yeah, exactly.
So dark. Is there anything you'd like to plug at all? Before I'm out of questions.
You're out of questions.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Is the other guy still there? It's only been you talking. Hello,
Brian.
No, I've just been listening.
He likes to observe.
He's still alive.
He
lurks. It's funny because
I lurk.
one of my questions was, what is your day job? And you already answered that. You're like, I don't really have a day job.
I don't have a day job.
Yeah, like I wanted to talk to you about, like, what costumes you would do if you got back into it. You already answered that.
Oh, I did. Yeah.
You answered Kirk or Picard.
I did.
Yeah. Sorry, man.
All right. It's all right. Well, I can always. Trust me, I can talk for miles. There's always more to chat about.
Yeah, you have fantastic.
Who are your biggest
stories.
influences?
My biggest in what?
I don't know. That's all I wrote down.
That's a pretty blanket terminology.
You're right. I'm sorry.
What's your biggest influences? That's like,
you started in acting. How's that?
There you go.
Oh, okay. You know what? That's a story. Are you ready for a story?
We love stories.
Yeah, we love you. Yeah.
Gosh. Okay.
I'm huddled up with a blanket right now.
Sucking on a binky.
Yes.
All right. Here is the full.
His daughters.
The full.
It's funny. My daughter never took binkies. Like she hated the things.
I have the same full. But hey, she loved nipples, and that's all that counts.
Yes.
All right. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. It's true.
Here it goes. So the full-fledged true story. In junior high school, I took choir as an elective for the 8th grade. Now, I can't sing, but I didn't know that. No one knows that. I wasn't terrible. I can kind of carry a tune. I can be part of a chorus or an ensemble. I could never be a lead. I don't have that kind of voice. Now, I had absolutely no friends. Every year of junior high, I had none. All 3 years, I was pudgy. I was pudgy and I spoke the same way I speak now, which does not go over well among 11-year-olds and 12-year-olds. I was just a complete outcast in every way, shape, and form, and I was picked on and beat up quite regularly, and it was not a good thing. Well, one day in choir, we were preparing for this assembly that we had at the end of the year, and everyone in the school had to attend this assembly in the big auditorium. And the song that they were going to perform as part of this concert for the assembly was A Whole New World from Aladdin. Now, the school was relatively new. It had only been around maybe 4 or 5 years, so it still had a big budget, still a lot of funding from the state and everything else. And so they were pretty extravagant with their concerts and with their shows and things. And so instead of just all of us standing on stage and singing A Whole New World, they actually did this thing where before the song started, we were on the auditorium, and in front of us, a screen lowered down, and projected onto that screen was the balcony scene from Aladdin right before the song A Whole New World begins, where you have Aladdin talking to Jasmine and, of course, the tiger's there. And so what they would do is they had the boy who sang the opening Aladdin solo, they had him do Aladdin's voice part. They muted the film and had him do Aladdin's dialogue in that balcony scene so it would segue into the song. And then, of course, when the song started, they'd lift the screen. And they had the girl who did Jasmine's opening solo do Jasmine's lines. Well, there was a third character in that scene who had lines, and that was the genie as the bee. Enough about you, Casanova. Talk about her. She's smart, fun, the hair, the eyes, pick a feature, that whole thing.
Oh, Genie, you're free.
Yeah, Genie. That whole little bit with him as the bee flying around.
Punctual.
Yeah. Punctual. That whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, when time came to do it, I prepared. I prepared like crazy. I got the part of the bee. I auditioned for it with the choir teacher weeks before, and I got it. Well, I prepared. I watched that scene, countless times, mimicked every note, every intonation, every inflection, every beat, every tone, everything. So the boy started, and the audience is sitting there, and you see the screen. His voice, he wasn't an actor. His voice had no inflection, and it didn't match the mouth movements of Aladdin at all. The girl came in with her lines, didn't match the mouth movements of the lines at all. And then a moment later, the genie came in, and I did it. I matched the mouth movements perfectly, the inflections, everything perfectly. And I heard a sound come from the other side of that screen that I had never heard before. I heard the sound of like 1,800 of my peers in complete laughter and applause. They had no idea it was me. Most of them still to this day never know. No one knew it was me, ever. Because when the curtain came up, I was standing as part of the choir, Mm-hmm. But I heard that sound, and immediately I was like, oh my God, this is what I need to do. This is my calling. I need to be an entertainer. I need to be an actor. I need to perform. This is what I need to do. And I just knew right away. And that was it.
That's excellent.
Oh my gosh, dude.
I
immediately enrolled.
I got glassy-eyed.
Yeah, that summer I immediately enrolled to join drama and everything at my high school the next year. And I mean, I'll go ahead and give a continuation of the story. It is a little more heart-wrenching, which is
the director's cut,
which was around the same time. During that summer, my mom got kind of taken out of my life.
Oh.
And she was incarcerated for something. And
sorry.
Hey, it happens. But so I was in a very depressed place, right? And I'm gonna. This is the much deeper continuation of the story. And I was very depressed. Not only had I gone now 3 years in junior high of having no friends and being tormented and picked on every day, and being self-conscious, and puberty not being kind to me at that point. And then my mom was taken out of my life, my mother figure, the only person who was constant in my life, because she and I mean, we were not of a stable sort. We would, the two of us lived in different homes with different people at different times. She was the one. She was the constant figure. And then she was taken out. And and I was very depressed. And I was literally, this is no joke, a day before I was supposed to start high school. The day before, I wrote a note, and I was planning to finish myself off. I lived with my grandparents at the time. My grandfather, of course, being a white man over 50, owns guns. He's Republican.
NRA carrier.
that whole sort, which I am definitely
NRA.
not. Because, Bernie 2016. Anyway, and so...
Feel the burn.
And exactly, I do. And so I had one of those handguns, and I had my hand on the trigger, and I tried as hard as I could to squeeze, and I couldn't do it. Luckily for me, I now look back. I think it's because the safety was on. I just now realized. I literally.
That was the biggest build-up to the
oh my
joke.
god!
Oh
Are you serious? You gotta be kidding. If none of that was real, I was gonna be.
No, this is all true. But just now, this moment, sitting here, I'm finally finding humor. I think it was because the safety was on. That's so because it was a modern gun. It wasn't a pistol. It was a. It wasn't a revolver. It was a 9mm. Shit, that's funny. Well, hey, thank God for that.
If that was not real, that was perfect timing.
That was the biggest build up to a joke I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep telling the serious story. Well, anyway. But then again, though, I'm not joking when I tell you my grandpa, I think, kept the safety off of most of the guns. So who knows what it was? But anyway, I couldn't do it though. I couldn't go through with it, and I was in tears. And I put it down and I put it away. They didn't know, and I hid the note in my drawer. And I told myself, okay. Tomorrow's the first day at a new school. If everything is the same as it was before, then I'll do it. But I will give it a shot. If it ends up being just like it was at the other school, where every day was like fucking hell, it was torture, then screw it, I'm not doing it. That's it. I'm going to go home and finish what I started. So the next day, I go to school. High school, brand new school. Now, fortunately for me, because of where I lived, I was kind of on the overlapping of district lines. And so the high school I went to, only maybe 3 other people from my junior high ended up going to that high school. The other 2,000 of them went to this other high school that I didn't go to. So that was kind of fortunate anyway. So I had kind of a fresh start. But I'm going to this school, and it's the first day. And so the first day what they had at that school at that time was freshman orientation for the freshmen. And so you didn't go to your normal classes. You went to 5 different classrooms, each for an hour. And in these classrooms, they would teach you about a different thing about the school. They were kind of orienting you as freshmen.
You're going to learn today.
You're going to learn about high school and what it's all like and what the rules are at this school and how we do things here, yada, yada. And right before lunch, freshman orientation moved to the drama room. And we sat down, and the drama class put on sketches. Instead of just, the teacher standing there telling you stuff, it was actually funny, goofy sketches for the entirety of the time, teaching you rules about the school and whatever else. And I was just enamored. I was like, oh my God, this is great. Cool. Okay. All right. Good feeling. Okay. Cool. Well, then it was lunch break, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to that drama room. Let's just see if I can look inside there. I'm so curious because that was the elective I had signed up for.
Oh, yeah.
And I peeked in, and I saw something I'd never seen before. I saw all of these students. There's all the drama kids. I saw all these students, and they were like me. They were hyper. They were these hyper active, over energetic people who were very weird and very quirky, and I guess I can't say hyper enough. And they weren't being shamed, and they weren't being made fun of. They were hanging out, and they were embracing each other, and they were joking with each other, and they were laughing together and hugging together, and just it was so supportive. And I just knew, I was like, these are my people.
You found your tribe.
This is it. I found my tribe. I was like, this is perfect. And that was it. And then also, the drama teacher, her name is Julie Benitez. and she works at Monte Vista High School in Spring Valley, California. And this woman is so talented and so passionate, and she's an absolute saint. And she came into my life, at that time, which was also at a time when I just had my mother taken out of my life. So I think that probably played a big role in it, that this, authority female figure who I admired and respected and who was very nurturing came to my life at that time. But it was definitely the culmination of these elements that got me on this path that I will just never get off.
That's a great story.
Well, man, that is great. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course, thank you for listening.
I feel like I feel close. Like, that was like
Did
a
we
really.
just bond?
I know, right? We're just hanging
Did
out.
we just become bros?
I always make like this is now GeekastX.
Yeah.
It got deep. It got deep. I went deep.
Get a little personal.
Wow.
Man, I got a little misty at the end there.
Yeah.
I got really misty earlier. I forgot
Yeah.
what it was though.
Yeah. So yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's cool, right? Isn't that? I'm so great, and that's all true. It's all 100% true. I didn't make up or elaborate or embellish any of it.
See,
And
I
that's-
was
which
like,
is nice because I think there's probably a good number of people out there who have really lame stories.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say something else.
I thought you were gonna say something like the gateway to Narnia.
A naked
Oh, yeah.
lady.
I opened the door, and it was there. There was a lion, there was a witch, and there was a wardrobe, all in the same place. I was like, "Fuck this noise! I don't like lions." Yeah.
Fuck off, dumbness.
Yeah. No, it was a really cool thing. It was a really cool thing. And
Yeah, no, that sounds.
Dude, that was a
that
great
sounds
story.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Do you want us to leave it in there?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I
No,
wouldn't have told it.
no, I wasn't sure if it was too deep.
No, I wouldn't have told it if if I wasn't okay with sharing it.
Oh wow.
I mean, you did say you have 7 listeners, so 6 of them, because one of them's going to leave after that whole homeschool nonsense. But 6 of them are going to be really attached.
We're really big in the Philippines.
Really?
Yeah. We always make
Yeah.
a joke. We used to have a website way back when, in the days of old. We were called Geekazoid,
Uh-huh.
and we used to have a website, geekazoid.com. And whenever I would check the analytics, it'd be like, oh look, we have 5 hits in the U.S. and 2 hits in the U.K. and 3 hits in, I don't know, Greenland and 500 in the Philippines.
Well, it's funny. It's because the Steven Spielberg produced animated show from the 90s, Freakazoid, finally got over to the Philippines a couple years ago, but in translation it came across as Geekazoid. So really, you're just getting an overflow of their fans, and no one actually likes you.
Freak out. I'll freak out. That's
Yeah.
fun.
Kidding. I'm so sorry.
I was gonna say that sounds like you
I
made
love
it
that
up
show.
right on the spot, but it was great. I believe it.
But it sounds like a really fun. It'd be a funny thing to find out. Oh my god, that makes perfect sense. Shit.
Yes, exactly. Exactly, dude. You're great, man. Thanks for coming on.
It's people who are fans of RV Man and they don't realize. Yeah, it's interesting how things cross over. You can cut that part out because that joke didn't make sense.
No, I got it.
I didn't get it. I said it and I was like, wait, that's not what you're talking about. I was referring to something backwards. I'm fine. I'm not lost. I think I'm lost. What is this? I have tons of stories though, so I don't know if
Do you wanna, Brian? Do you have time for one more? Do you want to share another story?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Oh Jesus.
Dude, you're probably the best guest we've ever had. I say that about each progressive guest, but you're awesome, man.
But that
Anthony.
kind of-
We've.
I know that kind of enthusiasm of okay.
Whoa.
Here, I will tell a story that you will not believe. No one will believe. But this is a story of how I am personally responsible for the song "I'm Walking on Sunshine" becoming a recurring gag on the show Futurama.
Okay.
Now, are you familiar with it being a recurring gag on Futurama?
Actually, I just started watching Futurama again, so I can actually look for it now.
Well, okay. So Fry, who's the main character, as you know, sings "I'm Walking on Sunshine" from time to time. It's just a thing he does. Well, I am largely responsible for it becoming a thing he does,
Yeah.
instead of it just being a one-time thing. And here's how that happened. Way back in 2000, a show called Futurama in 1999 debuted on TV, and the first season had aired. Now, in that first season, at one point, in one episode randomly, Fry was in the shower, I think, to himself, and he just sang part of I'm Walking on Sunshine. Something about this just struck me as hilarious, and I just loved it. I was like 13 at the time or whatever. I thought it was hilarious. Mm-hmm. So come that summer, the following summer, I'm 14. It's the summer of 2000. The first season had just finished airing. The second season hadn't aired yet, but of course, because of the way animation worked in those days, the second season had already been fully animated and was in the can. The third season, however, hadn't been started yet. I'm at San Diego Comic-Con, because we lived in San Diego at the time. And San Diego Comic-Con, back then, it was still massive, but it was nowhere near as massive. For example, to get into the panel for like Futurama and Simpsons, I stood in line for about an hour easy. Now you have to like camp out like the day before. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Well, I'm walking around the floor as this 14-year-old. I have a bunch. I have a bunch of art with me because I draw. So I have a bunch of like art with me, serious drawings, cartooning, things like that. And I see by the Bongo Comics booth, I see Matt Groening.
Oh.
And I'm just like, oh my god, I gotta go say hi to this guy. And no one notices him at the time. Like he's about to duck behind it. And before he ducks behind it, I kind of catch his attention. I go, hi, hey Matt. And he was very sweet. He was very kind. In fact, I've met him twice now at a comic convention, and both times he is the kindest person to his fans. He's very sweet.
Does he remember you?
No. I mean, why would... I'm just saying, I don't know, but I don't think so. But anyway, I get his attention, and I talked to him for a couple minutes, and he's very gracious, and he's very kind. I show him some of my artwork. He's very sweet, and he really likes it, because, I mean, he said many times, like, he doesn't draw that well, you know. He did the original drawings of The Simpsons. They were okay. And then he was able to get good animators to do it much better, you know. But he's just a very kind, very humble, very sweet guy. Anyway, good time, good talk. That's the end of it. Moving on. Later that day, I'm at the Futurama panel. And the panel is coming to a close. And I'm in line. Now, they have 3 lines set up because they have 2 aisles. They have 2 big throngs of audience. And so there's an aisle for a line up to a microphone in between those 2 piles of audience and one on either side. Can you see it in your mind now?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. 3 lines with a microphone. Mark Evanier, every year he's the MC for a lot of these panels at San Diego Comic-Con. He's like, okay, well, now I get to the front of the line. The person in front of me asks their question. They leave. I step up to the front. Matt Groening makes eye contact and recognizes me from earlier that day. And Mark Evanier says, okay, well, I think that's all. We're going to wrap things up. Thank you all very much. And Matt Groening actually is so kind. He says, well, hang on. Let's do one more question. Because he saw me and was like, hey, I don't want to feel like a dick. I saw this guy earlier. Let's let this guy ask a question. Well, because, of course, my line had a question asked, Mark Evanier, of course, goes to, 2 lines away from me. That person asked some question, random trivia thing or some random thing, whatever else. The audience kind of groans because they all want to move on to the Stan Winston panel in the next room, whatever. And, Mark Evanier is like, okay, great, all right, moving on. And Matt, again, it's like, well, it's one more, hang on. It goes to the next person, the next line, which still isn't my line. The audience is groaning, getting frustrated. He asks some question, not related to anything too special. It's a general question. It gets answered. All right, moving on. And Matt Groening is like, okay, I swear to God, I'm so sorry, everyone. Just this one guy's been standing here a long time. Last question. And it goes to me. So already, like, the odds are against me getting to ask this, all right? So it gets to me, and I finally get a chance to do it. And I say, okay, just because I'm such a fan of when it happened on the show, it was so funny, I would love it if Billy West, who's the voice of Fry, Billy, if you could please, as Fry, to close out the panel, sing I'm Walking on Sunshine. And the audience kind of groans a little bit, like, oh, Jesus, really, this? Yeah. And Billy West goes, okay, I'll do it, but if I do it, John DiMaggio has to beatbox. So John DiMaggio, who does Bender, who's also a really good beatboxer, he starts beatboxing. Phil Lamar, who's the voice of Hermes and was on the cast of Mad TV at the time, does a lot of characters. Phil Lamar starts doing like the bass line or something. And then Billy West comes in on top. I'm walking on sunshine, does the whole thing. The audience is in like an uproarious applause. at the end. They fucking love it. And that closes out the panel.
Oh,
starting in season 3, that happened at least once or twice a season from that point on. And they closed, I think, the following year or two's panels that way.
Nice.
Wow, that's great, dude.
And I'm pretty damn sure, had I not done that, that wouldn't have happened, because it wasn't in season 2, because season 2 had already been animated and was in the can. But from season 3 on, because they knew the fans loved it, Fry sang I'm Walking on Sunshine.
Awesome.
Dude, that is great.
So yeah, that's my other cool story.
All right. I
That
guess
was pretty gnarly.
on that we'll wrap. That was pretty
All
good.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Do you want
man.
to plug your Facebook and all that kind of jazz, your website?
Yes, you can check me out at, of course, you can see anything Joker related at facebook.com/Harley's Joker. You can see updates from me about film projects, TV projects, things like that. I'm working on acting stuff at AnthonyMisiano.com. It's hard to remember. It's such a crazy web address, but I'll say it again, AnthonyMisiano.com. And also there, you can see things. It's mostly, honestly, for casting directors to look at, not so much the public, because it's got like my resume and my headshots and like reels with clips of work I've done. But hey, if you're amused and entertained, go check it out. You can see what I do for a living and what I'm trying to do more for a living. And I guess that's it. Oh, and lastly, because I'm a whore, if you ever want to buy any posters of any of that cool Joker photographic art that I've done, you can go to anthonymisiano.storeenvy.com and check it out. And you can get an autographed poster all for yourself of any of those cool photo projects of mine. I guess that's it. That's all my plugs.
All
That's a lot of plugs.
Hey.
We pre-record ours so we can drop ours in the middle.
Yeah.
All right, geeks. That was Anthony Misiano.
Woo!
Thanks for coming on the show, Anthony.
Yeah, it was great. All right, geeks. Catch you next time.
Woo!
Bye, geeks.
Woo!
Woo!